the LazyGit tool. So LazyGit tool, as it sounds, is a tool to ease the usage of Git. When we use Git, so we have a couple of choices. We could use the IDEs, we can use command lines. So LazyGit is something in between. It's kind of UI, but it's on the terminal. It has like semi-Vim key bindings. And I think it has some advantages. I just tried it. I will probably continue to use it. First, let me tell you that the way I use Git is mostly via the command line, and for diffs, I use the IDE IntelliJ. So how come I get away with the command line? Because I have only a couple of basic command lines that I use for Git, and they were enough for me for years. Only these commands, and they were perfectly good enough for me. So what are these commands? When I want to commit files, I don't need to add items to the index with git add. I just add it to the commit. So I do git commit -a, like add everything, I think, and then the message. I think maybe dot, and then my message. So this was the git commit plus adding to the index. So I think it means -a smaller a. So I don't think about the index, and I saw that much of this was, let's add this thing to the index. Let's not add this thing to the index. I just use -a and I add all the diffs that I have. I have to, sometimes when I want to reset, I want to dump all the things that I have locally and just reset it. So I do git reset -hard or -hard. And let's say origin master. So this would reset whatever I have to the master. When I want to squash commits, I have multiple commits. I want to make them clean, nice, one commit for a push. Then I do git rebase -i for interactive, and I just choose them. And I also do a git rebase or merge for master, for main. Master. This is in order to sync with master. Of course, git pull, git push. But these are, I think, the basic commands. Sometimes when I want to prepare for a commit, I just, and I don't have, I don't want to do a rebase -i. Just do git reset -soft. Let's say master. So this would just make everything, and then I do a commit. So this is as if I wrote everything locally now. Dumping all the previous commit, I just wrote whatever I changed for master, put it as a diff. Okay, so this was it. And I also use sometimes git reflog to see what changes happened. If I did some mistake, I want to go back in the past, git reflog, and I have some git log. But in git log, I always make an alias of it to git lg because I use -1 line. I want the git log to be nicer, so just look for in Google for one line git log and you will see it. So back to our topic. So you see, with these commands, I can get away with like 10 years of programming. I wouldn't need almost never anything else, except for diff. When I compare my branch to another branch, then I use heavily IntelliJ diff. But other than doing the diff with IntelliJ, these commands are enough. I actually never needed something else. Okay, so why do I still think that LazyGit can be good? So I'm not sure I'm going to use it for commit. So here we see here they have the current branch and have the changes in files. and they are performing a commit. So these are the change files, these are the branches, these are the commits. So while I don't think I would use it for commit because I'm used to the command line commit, I think this is a very clean UI. I mean, I see here exactly the changes. I see here the branches. I can move in between the branches. I see all the commits. I see here the diff really clean. So the reason I'm going to use LazyGit is because this UI looks super clean. I know in IntelliJ and also in Visual Studio Code, it's not that clear what's going on in Git. I need to use either the command line or something. It's not that clear, right? So, but this was an example of how you can do a commit with it. Let's see other examples. So you see, my reasoning would be to see things more clearly. Also seeing all the branches all the time and moving in between them, you can switch between branches very quickly. You hit, I think, just type 1 to get to this panel, type 2 to get to this panel, type 3 to get to this panel, type 4 to get to this panel, and then 5. And I'm not sure yet how to get with keyboard to this panel, but you can just click it with the mouse. So here, what was the example? The example was stage individual line. I never heard this use case, but they're staging, I mean, it's like the Git add, but they're staging only specific lines. Interactive rebase could be nice. So instead of, I see they're pressing here a couple of keystrokes, and they are doing the rebase. So let's say I want to squash multiple commits into a single commit. Pick, drop, squash, fix up. Looks good. I might use it. Cherry pick. Cherry pick means I want to take the changes from this commit and put it somewhere else. So also this I might be using. So what they're doing here, first remember we go in between the panel 1, 2, 3, 4. So they are going to this panel. They are choosing some commit and they say, and then they click copy C, and then they move, I think, to another branch, and then click V, and the paste this commit into another branch. This can be useful sometimes I want to take some commit from one branch into another, copy paste. Bisect. Never used bisect. Never ever. But I never used it. But this looks good. Basically, the idea behind bisect is that you say this is. It's like Git will. You say this is bad. This is good. Now Git will take this commit and ask you, hey. So Git will do this bisect. I mean, he won't know which commit was faulty. He will ask you, but he will ask you in a binary manner. So if you told him this is good, how do you know that this is good? So you need to know somehow. Either you know specifically what are lines were bad. You know that line 123 when it was added is bad, right? Then Git will present you this and ask you, is this good or bad? Or you should tell him. So if you say this is good, he will now present you with this middle. If you say this is bad, okay, so he knows that bad is somewhere in between. So he will present you this. So bisect is a little bit, I mean, you give him a range, Git will tell you, okay, what about this one? But how do you know that this is good and this is bad? You need to decide, either because you know the specific lines that made this branch faulty or because you tested it somehow. But it does a great job. You see bad, good, current that you test. So it does a pretty good job in asking you about it. What a feature nukes the whole walking tree. I personally just do git reset minus hard main or master, but you can use here LazyGit. Let's see, amend an old commit, filter with slash. So you can filter in every panel that you can filter thing. invoke a custom command, work trees. Work trees I never used and I might start using because it's going to be easy with the LazyGit. It means just I don't have to commit things. I think I don't have to commit things. I can switch in between like semi branches without committing. Rebase from, let's see if there is something. Undo can be very nice. So you can use the Z or Control Z in order to undo redo. This can be nice. See the commit graph. You see, this is part of the clean UI that I told you about. So it looks much clearer than the commit graph in IntelliJ. Maybe it's because of the colors. Maybe it's because it's how it's on the whole screen by default. This is also another reason I'm going to begin, I think, using this. And you know, this is a small screen, so on a big screen, it would be even better. Compared to commits, this is also very nice. You can choose here to commit. Then I think you hit Control W to choose one of them, or Shift W. Shift W. Shift. And then you choose the other and compare them. Awesome. Very nice. And I really like this interface of the comparison. It looks good. And that's it. Okay, so this was a brief intro into LazyGit. I think it's complementary. I just tried it and I liked it. So I will try it. Next week, I will start putting it in my workflow. I like that it's not a whole app that I need to load. It's on the terminal. I'm going to continue using the command line, but I think this can be a good addition to my workflow. So this was LazyGit.